You're listening to Bulldogs Live. Once again, here's your host, the voice of the Bulldogs, Scott Howard.
Hey, welcome back. Bulldogs Live, presented by Wells Fargo, an official sponsor of the Georgia Bulldogs. And we are here in Athens with Coach Kirby Smart with you tonight for another Thursday night Bulldogs Live. And our friends from Southeast Mortgage are here tonight. Let us hear from you guys tonight.
I told you they'd get loud.
Welcome to the show.
It's a rowdy bunch.
You guys, I mean, these guys, they're veterans here with this show. They're here every year, and we certainly welcome them, and glad to see all you folks back in Athens for tonight's program. Hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to answer some questions, or Coach is. I'm going to ask some, and we've got some from our social media platforms. Hashtag AskCoachSmart. That's how you send those in to us. That's brought to you by Greenpoint Ag. Greenpoint Ag is farmer-owned and locally focused, and we've got some questions put together. We'll fire at the coach, but right now we just want to get it warmed up and tell us how things have gone this week as you get ready for the Auburn Tigers on Saturday.
Well, we had some good practices. Thought we had really good energy Monday and Tuesday. It was cooler weather, so it always seems to be, your practice performance is tied to that somewhat. It shouldn't be, but it is, because sometimes the temperature controls how much energy we have. But we had really good practices, I thought, and guys prepared hard. I think there's a lot of respect for Auburn in this program and what Coach Freeze has done since arriving, but also what Coach Freeze has done at other places he's coached at. And our guys acknowledge that and understand it, and they got a good football team.
And I think you mentioned this earlier, but our guys know a lot of their guys, and vice versa. And they've played at just about every level of football to get to this point. Now they're going to play each other again.
Well, they've got a lot of Georgia kids on that roster, and always have, and kind of always will. They recruit the state, so the two are so close proximity that I know there's a lot of bad blood there that the two teams will be ready to play.
First 4 games of the year, what do you feel like you've gotten out of your guys so far at a 4-0 pace and getting ready for a good long SEC stretch here?
Well, like it is every year, I think you got every game's different, and we had hot and cold games each and every week, and you're searching for an opportunity to play complementary football on both sides of the ball, be at your best. And we really haven't been at our best on both sides of the football at one time, and you're constantly trying to do that. So there were some good things about last week and some things we had to improve on.
What are some of those things that you're looking for improvement?
Well, always red area for defense. We haven't played real red area defense that we're capable of. We worked really hard on that area, and we improved that on offense. But, I mean, those things are all obvious. Like we need to tackle better. We need to communicate better. There's a lot of area to improve in terms of cardio and being able to play more snaps and have guys play longer. But those are all things that we can work on, and we have.
What did you like about last week's win over UAB?
Well, I liked where the offense came out. I thought Carson was in rhythm. I thought we hit some shots, hit some explosive plays, and left some out there all at the same time. We ran the ball well. We stayed aggressive, and I think those things were important.
What's the key to completing those shots that you take? As you said, we missed a couple last week. Is there something maybe mechanically or technically that's malfunctioning to prevent those long balls from happening?
I wish I knew if that was it. It takes a throw and a catch, and you have to execute the right route at the right time, the right depth, and you got to throw a good ball, and a lot of those things, that they come together when they come together. We work really hard on that on Mondays. We spend more time on the players' legs so we can throw vertical balls and get timing, and it takes that. We have not had a lot of continuity in practice with guys going in, out, in, out, in, out. You like to get that continuity. We haven't been able to get all that.
Is there anything different about this week since you have to play on the road? Any other duties that you haven't had to do so far this season that you have to do this week?
No, not really. I mean, the road's actually easier because you get a little more time. You don't have the recruiting, so that part of it. Now, when I say easier, I'm talking about it's not the game day stuff that you have to deal with. Obviously the crowd noise you have to deal with, but we won't have prospects, and so we'll be focused on the game, most of the game.
Fewer players involved in this one because, 70 on the road in a conference game?
74.
74 now?
Yep, 74.
Okay. You have that list put together?
Oh, yeah, we always got the list put together. Why, you need it? You looking for somebody? Well,
if you want to slip me a copy, I would welcome it.
What does it really matter? I mean, that's amazing to me.
Oh, it just helps. It would help me. I don't need it.
You got a roster right there. Just check them off.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't like 74 guys are going to go, and 74 guys are going to have an opportunity to play. It doesn't really matter which 74. You know within 90% who that's going to be.
All right. Well, we'll see them on Saturday at 3:30. 3:39 is the official kick time, Eastern time. Georgia and Auburn coming up this weekend. This is Bulldogs Live, presented by Wells Fargo, an official sponsor of the Georgia Bulldogs. And we'll step aside for just a moment, come back for more with Coach Kirby Smart right after this on the Bulldogs Sports Network. Friends from Southeast Mortgage are here as our audience in Athens tonight. Coach Kirby Smart here answering your questions. Our hashtag is hashtag Ask Coach Smart is brought to you by Greenpoint Ag, and we'll be getting to some of those questions from social media as we go through the night. And we want to remind dog fans to make sure you check out the G Shop at GeorgiaDogs.com for exclusive releases of Nike Game Day official apparel, just like the coaches wear. Visit GeorgiaDogs.com and the G Shop today. Let's get a question from our list here from social media. Greenpoint Ag sponsors our hashtag, farmer-owned and locally focused. And let's see, Jackie in Savannah, Georgia, Coach wants to know about the string of night games that you're playing at home. Do you like it? Would you prefer an earlier kick time? You've got a night game next week against Kentucky.
Yeah, I don't get to say so in that. So everybody wants to know what I think. I like variety. You know, I like a change up. I like an early game sometime and some late games. I don't like anything to be the same all the time. I don't like all night games. I don't like all early games. So if I had it perfect, then everybody would play at 2 o'clock and everybody would be done about the same time, and you get to be with your family in the afternoon and enjoy things. But we don't control that, and I accepted that a long time ago.
Jackie, thanks for your question. We're going to grab a question from our audience, our friends from Southeast Mortgage here. This is Katie. Hi, Katie. Welcome to the show.
How are you?
I'm good. What's
Wonderful.
your question for the coach?
Okay, look, I had 2 questions, but I felt like I needed to behave. I didn't want to put you on the spot.
Don't do that.
I know. So I asked staff which one you might like better. So here's the one we landed on. What's your hard and fast rule that the team isn't allowed to break?
Hard and fast rules that the team is not allowed to break. There's lots of them. The primary one is run on and off the field. That's like, you can't break that rule. I don't want you walking on the field because it looks bad. Everybody gets down. It just looks awful to a coach when you just got people walking around. The other one is always have your helmet in your hand. Never put your helmet on the ground or sit near your helmet because it'll break somebody's leg if they hit it. So you should always have your helmet with you. But now you could be asking about something else. I'm just giving you generalities.
No. Those are legit. My son plays baseball, so those are the legit things that I say to him. You take care of your equipment like you take care of your family.
That's right.
And you better not ever be the last one on the field.
Last one off?
Ever. And if I catch you
off.
walking, you're catching it when we get home.
That's exactly right. You're harder on him than the coach is.
Katie, thanks for your question. We appreciate you being here tonight. We'll grab some more from our audience, Southeast Mortgage, as we go along tonight. Another question from hashtag Ask Coach Smart. John in Perry, Georgia. He's trying to get some inside skinny from you, Coach. How excited would you be if Ladd McConkey's able to get back in the action?
Well, that'd be awesome. He's one of those kids that it's killing him that he hadn't been able to help, and he wants to so bad, and he's done everything the trainers have asked. So it would be very exciting if that was able to happen, and probably not going to know till the game time because he's gone out and practiced some this week. He's been able to move around and do some stuff, but you just don't know with those kind of injuries until they get out there and play.
How do you feel the rest of the receiving corps has done in his absence? I mean, there are other guys that are absent too due to injury, but specifically those guys.
Well, I think those guys have stood strong. Thank goodness we've added some depth there with Rivalry and Dom, and those guys have helped a receiving corps to be able to overcome some of these injuries we've had, and those guys have picked up the slack and done a nice job.
Larry in Forsyth, Georgia, sent in this question. How many questions did the Philadelphia Eagles have for you last year?
Well, a lot. They talk to our coaching staff a lot. They talk to all of our coaches, all of our strength coaches, our academic people, our trainers. But it's not just the Eagles. Every team talks to our guys, and they get information. They gather information, and those guys took a special liking to that group, and I think it compounded. Once one went and then another went, it was almost like, well, there's a comfort level here. Let's go ahead and capitalize on these gains of synergy. So we almost got like 2 or 3 more, and it just kind of snowballed into the group that's there.
Have you had much of a chance to watch some of your former guys play on Sunday or Monday or Thursday or whenever they're playing this year?
No, I haven't. It seems like I've seen more of the Eagles, mainly because of our guys, but they've also played on some different dates. I think they had a Thursday night game. I think they had a Monday night game.
Yep.
So they have sent, I get a, whatever you call those things, a video alert, and when you click on the button, and you watch the little clip. So that's been cool.
I know there's a large amount of Georgia fans, certainly, that are now Philadelphia Eagles fans and enjoy watching the Dogs' northern version. There's like 6 or 7 former Bulldogs on that roster now, I think. So that's always fun to watch. And
I know they enjoy it, having each other.
Yes, indeed. That's not bad. That's a little comforting too when you go on away. And these guys are mostly young, and they're trying to establish themselves in probably a foreign place, foreign city, and foreign to them, not foreign internationally. But it's great to have some teammates with you.
Sure is. At that age, it's one of the hardest things they go through in the NFL because they're in a foreign place and they don't really know anybody.
This is Bulldogs Live with Coach Kirby Smart. We've got more questions for the coach, brought to you by Greenpoint Ag. They sponsor our hashtag Ask Coach Smart. That's how you can get the questions to us. Greenpoint Ag is farmer-owned and locally focused. Our friends from Southeast Mortgage are here, and they will let you know it right now as we go into a timeout here on the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network. Thanks for tuning us in tonight, Bulldogs Live with Georgia head coach Kirby Smart, and we've got 2 hours of Bulldogs Live for you tonight. At the top of the hour, we'll shift to the Bulldogs All-Stars, your chance to call in and talk to former Georgia players. Tonight, Rennie Curran and Drew Butler will join Neil Williamson in hour number 2 to talk Georgia football. It's the Dogs in Auburn this weekend in Auburn, Alabama. 3:39 is the official kick time. Our coverage here on the Bulldogs Sports Network will start at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, and we hope you can join us. And be sure to follow Georgia Bulldogs All Access on social media by searching at UGA_GBSM. Georgia Bulldogs Sports Marketing provides your inside connection to UGA athletics with exclusive updates and behind-the-scenes content, including the Kirby Smart All Access TV show. You can follow at UGA_GBSM. Our friends from Southeast Mortgage are here tonight as our audience, and our next question comes from Tina. Hi, Tina. Welcome to the show. What's your question for the coach?
So I'm in sales. Every day I drive to work, I blast my music as loud as it can go. Tell me, what is your favorite rap artist this year?
Oh, man. This year, I would probably say Quavo.
You got it. We're vibing.
Yeah, I like Quavo. He comes to some of our games and hangs out with our guys, and they play the music, so I get to enjoy it.
Thank
I'm a
you.
little bit more of an old school rap guy, but if I had to go new school, that's what it would be.
Thanks, Tina. Vanilla Ice, is that old school?
Yeah, that's.
I'm just kidding. All right. Let's grab another question from hashtag Ask Coach Smart. It's brought to you by Greenpoint Ag. Greenpoint Ag is farmer-owned and locally focused. And let's see, Mike in Atlanta says, when you retire, will you want to work in broadcasting? And who do you like to hear among the former coaches and players now?
I enjoy Stench because I play with Stenchcomb, so I really like listening to Matt.
He's good.
He's very intelligent, and he's got great sarcasm. Of course, I always liked David Pollock when he was active doing the stuff. But a lot of those guys do a great job. So many former players. Shock did some work in broadcasting too. So it's like I'm partial to all the Georgia guys. Ben does an incredible job to me on the SEC network in watching that. So all the Dogs I like watching.
Any interest for you down the road?
No interest for me. I don't have any interest in doing that. It's second guessing. That's not for me.
Darius in Columbus, Georgia. Have you coached any other tight ends that compare to Brock Bowers?
No. Nobody that's ever been like that guy. I mean, Darnell was extremely unique, but different in his own right. So if you were rating them on a scale of they're both really, really good, they're both really, really different. And it's hard to compare those two guys, but they are, they are special players.
Jane in Athens, Georgia. How much history do you have with Hugh Freeze, and do you know if he is a decent golfer?
No, I know he's a good golfer. He's a real good golfer. He kicked my butt in a tournament like 3 straight years in a row. He and his partner beat myself and my partner over at Lake Oconee. He is a really good golfer and enjoys golf like I do. I think that we have that in common. Do I have history with him? Not really. I mean, we played against each other. When the years I was in Alabama, he was obviously at Ole Miss, and we crossed paths in recruiting and things. And then when he was off at Liberty, I never really got to interact with him as much. And since he's been back in the SEC, then we've grown, closer again at the meetings and things like that.
Jane, thanks for your question. As long as we're talking about Auburn, Mark in Birmingham, Alabama, anything that jumps off the video with this Auburn team for you?
Physicality, like you watch a team play, and we always call it the silent tape, and you just sit there and don't have any sound on, and you watch them play. They strike people, they play physical, defensive line, knockback, tackle well, really athletic quarterbacks, and they run really hard physical running backs. So, I mean, the physicality to me that's when you see that, you know what's coming down the road for that team because they're doing it the right way.
What do you this may be hard for you to answer, but what do you think they see about Georgia when they turn on the Georgia tape and they see your guys? What do you think they say?
It's all over the place right now. I mean, we have not put a complete game together. They see spurts of, wow, those guys are athletic. They execute. They all know what they're doing. And then there's spurts of, well, they're vulnerable there. So you get a little bit of everything when you watch that tape.
Mason in Bogart, Georgia. How do you keep practice intensity up yet still keep everyone you can healthy?
You don't. I mean, you can't control.
You have to pick one. I guess
you got to go practice, and we err on the side of practicing. And we're smart about what we do. We do drills separate. We've been very fortunate. The injuries we've had this year have not come from 11-on-11 situations. Typically, you want your injuries to come in a game, not in practice. So you make the practice as safe as you possibly can, but you have a certain job you have to do too.
This is Bulldogs Live with Coach Kirby Smart. We're firing questions at him from social media platforms. Hashtag Ask Coach Smart is how you get them to us. It's brought to you by Greenpoint Ag, farmer-owned and locally focused. And tonight's program is presented by Wells Fargo, an official sponsor of the Georgia Bulldogs. We'll step aside just a moment. Back for more questions for the coach right after this on the Bulldogs Sports Network. This is Bulldogs Live with Georgia head coach Kirby Smart. And dog fans, if you want to do an NIL deal with a dog, go to georgiadogs.com/NIL to connect with a student athlete on a sponsorship, a commercial, an appearance, autograph session, and lots more. It's Bulldogs Live presented by Wells Fargo tonight. Wells Fargo, an official sponsor of the Georgia Bulldogs. And questions for the coach from our hashtag Ask Coach Smart. That's brought to you by Greenpoint Ag, locally farmer-owned and locally focused. Donald in Carrollton, Kirby had this question. Chaz Chambliss is from here. He says, can you tell me about his development?
Yeah, Chaz is a workaholic. I mean, my office overlooks the practice fields, and there's times I'll be in my office and I'll hear a noise out beyond the window, and it's somebody hitting a sled, and it's like 45 minutes after practice, and I look out there and Chaz is out there still hitting the sled all by himself, and I'm like, that guy is going to kill himself trying to get better. He works really hard. He's a tremendous kid and leader in toughness, and he represents Carrollton really well.
Yes, Donald, thank you for your question, and we're certainly glad to have Chaz on the team representing, as Coach says, representing Carrollton. Representing Southeast Mortgage now, our audience here tonight in Athens is Brandon. Hi, Brandon. Welcome to the show. Fire away with your question for the coach.
Coach, as a sales leader, I truly appreciate your halftime speeches. My question for you is, what is your favorite all-time as a player interception that you had?
Oh, man. I guess I'd have to say the late one in the fourth quarter against Florida. I had one early in the game, but then late in the game they tipped it around, and I caught it in the big upset. It was like the best team we beat, while I was here. So I had, quite a few interceptions, but some of them didn't lead to wins. And I think I would stick with the one that led to beating Florida and Spurrier and those guys. And my mom was from the state of Florida. That win meant a lot to her. So I think it would be that one.
Brandon, thanks for your time. Thanks for your question. Do you still have the football? Did you save the football or anything?
No, you don't get to keep it. Back then, the NCAA was a little tight on footballs, so they didn't let us keep footballs when we picked them off.
Get a replacement maybe, like the ones you've been signing tonight?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's see. Hashtag Ask Coach Smart is how you can get your questions into us on social media. Jonathan in Covington, Georgia, how much has Dejon Edwards being back helped our run game?
Well, getting any back healthy is huge. You know, we're trying to get Kendall back, and it's like you want to have a stable of backs. I mean, the fact that we lost Branson before the season is just so tough because I really thought we were going to have a three-headed monster there with Branson, Kendall, and Dejon. And for Dejon to be out early, Branson to be out for the season, Dejon's back, Kendall's been out. I mean, it's been a circle of deal, and I think the offensive staff's done a great job of kind of improvising with what we have.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. You've had Dylan Bell being able to step in a little bit, and Cass Jones has contributed also.
That's right. Those guys do a great job, and great to have Dejon back.
Let's look ahead right now to the weekend, Georgia and Auburn. It's brought to you by the Governor's Office of Highway Safety. The penalty for getting a DUI can cost up to $10,000. That's why the Governor's Office of Highway Safety says drive sober so you won't get pulled over. Some things you're looking for, Coach, as you get ready for this clash with Auburn on Saturday.
Well, I'm looking for an opportunity for us to play on the road. You know, you create more of your identity when you have adverse situations. I would say that we're going into an adverse situation, so we're going to get a chance to create some identity. And I want to find out more about this team, how they're going to respond, how are we going to play in this environment, and I'm excited to see it.
Have you seen that energy in practice this week as gear up to make this SEC stretch run?
Yeah, I mean, our kids get after it. There's no other way to do it. You know, it's not any more than the previous week. It's not any less. I think everybody wants to know like the outlook and how practice went. I mean, the kids, they practice hard, and it gets monotonous, but they've done a good job with it.
Let's see, Paul in Harlem, Georgia. How is the leadership on this team, or is it too early to tell?
They've been good. They hold each other accountable, and it's a shared job, and it's not a deal where it's one person. They have a really good group. I mean, there's a large contingency of juniors and seniors who have played here, and when you're in your third year in this program, you've earned the right to help lead, and we got a good group at that age.
Let's see, Sherry in Duluth. Of all the different aspects of coaching and running a program, which parts provide you with the most enjoyment?
The seeing the players have success, whether that's success in the classroom, success in their families. We had a couple players come back to practice and to get around them. I got to see Tyler Clark the other day. He was on one of the first teams, and seeing them have success both on and off the field is the most gratification I can get.
What's Tyler up to these days?
Well, he was finishing up with one of the USFL teams, and he was working out for a couple pro teams that were looking to pick somebody up, and he was just stopping by to check in and see us.
Good deal. And you have a lot of guys that have a chance to do that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the hope, and then you want to help them when their chance ends, when the opportunity ends. We want to help them in the real world and get them started the right way.
This is Bulldogs Live with Georgia head coach Kirby Smart, and we'll step aside for just a moment. More questions for the coach. Glad to have you along tonight. Bulldogs Live with Georgia head coach Kirby Smart, and Dog Nation, for all of your information needs, log on to GeorgiaDogs.com. From tracking event results to exclusive behind-the-scenes coverage, GeorgiaDogs.com has you covered. Georgia and Auburn on Saturday at 3:30. The official kick time is 3:39 Eastern Time. And our coverage of Georgia football on your Saturday begins at 11:30 a.m. right here on the Bulldogs Sports Network. We invite you to join us. Let's grab a few more questions for Coach Smart from our hashtag #AskCoachSmart, brought to you by Greenpoint Ag, farmer-owned and locally focused. Todd in Commerce, Georgia. Kirby asks this one, what do you love most about this rivalry with Auburn?
The fan bases, I think. I don't think people realize that the players don't have the same as much heated rivalries, I think, as they used to, because there's less. I mean, kids leave, kids go in portals, kids come from different places. I mean, they've got 15 or 20 transfers, so they're trying to learn and understand that rivalry. We have a few, but what doesn't change is the fact the people that grew up and went to Georgia and the people that grew up and went to Auburn love this game, and they want bragging rights for an entire year. So that part of the rivalry is really special, and it's been special for me just because of where I grew up. I grew up in the shadows of the southwest side of the state, so it wasn't that far to Auburn, and the family ties and the connection, things like that to Auburn makes it a special rivalry.
I know it's probably out of coach's control for the most part, but as you see this conference grow and the schedule has to be altered a little bit, do you see that affecting this matchup, this Georgia-Auburn, on a yearly basis?
I don't know. It would depend on the schedule, right? I mean, I can't say whether it would impact this game specifically. It obviously has the South Carolina game, but I'm not privy to what the SEC makes those decisions on. But it could certainly impact it if it doesn't continue or get to happen, and that's sometimes the cost of progress. But whether it happens or not, I think when Auburn plays Georgia, it will always be traditional.
128th meeting on Saturday in this long and storied series. Another question from #AskCoachSmart. Dan in Winder, Georgia. How do you prepare our team, particularly the young guys, for the type of rowdy atmosphere they will see on Saturday?
Well, they shouldn't see it. The goal is for them, they'll hear it, but they shouldn't pay attention to it. The sole focus for us is to keep our composure and play within ourselves and enjoy the environment. But there's nobody that's going to come out of the stands and try to beat them. They're going to have to beat the guys on the field.
Let's grab a question from our friends from Southeast Mortgage. They are here as our audience tonight. This is Quentin. Hi, Quentin. Welcome to the show. What's your question for the coach?
Hi. Well, being at Southeast Mortgage, we're celebrating 30 years strong.
30 years strong.
So, Coach Smart, what do you believe is the key to building a successful and competitive team?
Man, it starts with great people, and you can't have a successful team without great people. And any organization that's been doing it for 30 years strong is impressive, because it is not easy to be successful for that amount of time. But it starts with the people you have and the shared interest. When you have a group of people that care about each other and they have a shared interest, you can do anything.
Quentin, we appreciate it. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your question, and thank you for being here tonight. And thanks to our friends from Southeast Mortgage for being here as well. We'll step aside one more time. We've got one more segment with the coach, and we'll fire your questions at him when we come back here on the Georgia Bulldogs Sports Network. With you each and every Thursday night throughout the football season, it's Bulldogs Live with Georgia head coach Kirby Smart. And stick around for the second hour of our show tonight when we will feature the Bulldogs All-Star. So another hour of Bulldog football talk just for you. And, Coach, while you were off doing that, a request was sent in to sign this and sign that if you can. Thank you very much. This is Eddie from our friends here at Southeast Mortgage. Eddie, what's your question for the coach? Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it. The answer better be no. But of all the success NFL's coming at some point in time, Colin, do you have any desire to one day go coach the NFL?
I don't right now. I mean, I never say never to anything, but it's not something that I'm passionate about. It's I love the relationship with the college kids, and it's been fun doing it here at the alma mater, and it's something that you want to do for a long time, and you want to have a lot of success. So I don't think about the NFL thing. I don't even get to watch their games, so it's like a different whole game. But knows the answer now.
Eddie, thanks a lot for your question. Appreciate you being here. #AskCoachSmart is how you can get your questions to us on social media. Amanda in Johns Creek, Georgia, sent this one in. Did you ever consider Auburn as a high school prospect?
Yeah, I did. They didn't consider me. That was the problem. I went there and visited and worked out a lot. I knew a lot of the coaches. My dad was good friends with the coaches on the coaching staff during that time, and probably wasn't good enough for those guys. But I did go there and work out, and went to games as a recruit.
Ryan in Alpharetta, Georgia, has this one. What area of Alabama did you primarily recruit when you were on staff at Alabama?
Yeah, I had southeast Alabama, so I had about the bottom quadrant down there, run from Auburn down to Dothan, across, and I had a large portion of southeast Alabama.
Mobile at all? Did you have
No,
that?
I didn't go that far west, so they kept me over here connected to Georgia because of the connections to this state.
A lot of talent in that area?
I wouldn't say a lot, but it's good. It's very rural, so you get a lot of really good football players, but kind of they're sparse, like they're spread out.
It seems like back in the day in our state, there was a lot of great talent in South Georgia, rural, most of it. Times have changed now, and I guess the bulk of the talent maybe, and you would know better than I, but is it in the urban areas, in the Atlanta areas, just because of the population?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, it's always been in Atlanta areas, but it's not been as one-sided. I don't think it's less in some of the rural areas than it used to be.
Let's see. Ron from Griffin, Georgia, says, I feel blessed to be able to support two great sports teams like the Georgia Bulldogs and the Atlanta Braves. What do you think each team could learn about the other as far as how the organizations operate and the type of people within?
Well, there's a lot of information to be shared there. I mean, in fact, we do share information sometimes with those guys between Snit, myself, and other people. The general manager, Alex, has done a great job, and he's reached out several times, and we've done the same with him. We use some of the same off-the-field sports psych people to try to create an edge. Any edge you can get, you're looking for, and we both share those. I certainly learned a lot from watching them this season deal with the injuries they had, and they kept right on going through. It's like they never skipped a beat even through it.
When is the time that you do maybe reach out to other organizations to share thoughts and ideas? Is that done largely in the off season?
Yeah, I would say largely in the off season, but that doesn't prevent you from doing it in the season. If you need information or you hear about somebody doing something that might be better, you're always looking for a better way.
If when you and Brian Snitker talk, what do y'all usually talk about?
Well, small talk, just checking on family and appreciation, I think, because we're kind of in the same coverage of TV stuff, and you get to see a lot of him, and he probably sees a lot of me. So it's one of those things that was have a mutual respect for the job that's done.
I know you've been to some Braves games, but have you thrown out the first pitch ever? Have you ever been asked to do that?
Well, I got asked to do it, but I let my son do it because I can't throw as good as him. So I let him do it.
Which one? Which son?
The younger one. He likes to pitch, so he got to throw. I got to catch it. That's my job.
Oh, that had to be a great thrill for him.
Yeah, he enjoyed it.
Excellent. Let's see. Hashtag Ask Coach Smart. Chris from Noonan, Georgia. What is an area of improvement you hope to see on Saturday?
Well, a lot of them. Defensively, got to be in the red area. Got to keep improving there. So many things that it's like I want the composure to be there, and we can improve on things during the week. I want them to have great composure, to understand that good things are going to happen, bad things are going to happen. We're going to play one moment at a time, and we're going to hunt. We're not going to sit back. I mean, you can't play the game of football that way. So it's our job to go on the aggressive and go on the attack, and then that's what we're going to do.
For your guys, do you ever bring up the history, the success recently that you've had in this series? Point that out, maybe some things that, we did this then, we want to do this now?
No. I mean, the history of this series is not relevant to the players. I don't think the players right now, we talk about the rivalry and that kind of thing, but nothing relevant to the last 10, 15, 20, 30, or 100 years. No, we don't really talk about it much. We just talk about the two programs, and they're close.
Well, it's a 6-game winning streak right now. Hope you can make it 7 in the series. Kirby, good luck, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.